Today, Pressure Washing Institute Contractors First. I'm here with Drake Vant Hul, CPA. You know what, Drake? Lots of guys now know about you, but go ahead and give me a little bit of your background, a little quick bio, introduce yourself, and let these guys know what you really do.
Yeah, my name's Drake Vant Hul. I own Performance Financial. We're an outsourced CPA, accounting, advisory, tax prep firm. Really, the best way I like to describe myself is I'm an entrepreneur. So I run 3 other businesses, including this practice. And really what we try to do from a CPA firm perspective is speak to you like normal human beings. You know, dude, I got long hair. I like to wear a hat every day to work. I'm not going to come and talk to you about a bunch of jargon. I'm going to talk to you straightforward, tell you how it is, but really try to provide accurate advice so that you can make good decisions inside of your business. So many of these guys love to talk fancy words that you don't have any idea what they're talking about, or they talk over you, or we're really just try to be down to earth, really talk your language, make sure that you can understand it. Because I tell everybody, you're never going to take, as a business owner, be completely free of all your finances. But our goal is to serve it on a silver platter for you so that you can really understand it and make good decisions.
You know, man, most guys I find out that try to get into business, they don't know how important this stuff is. And so many of them think that they're making money just because they may be making more money than they ever made in their job. But
yep.
I'm gonna throw this number out there. Running a piece of equipment with a person behind it, before all this inflation came about, you probably had to do about 60 per hour. That was the break even. And so many of these guys think, well, I'm making $50 an hour. That's double or triple what I was making at my job. And they don't understand that there's so many of these costs that are associated with it. And you're right. I love that you don't use big words. I mean, on the show, last time we talked, I had to ask you what the big words were. Remember? I mean, because I'm not a financial wizard or genius either. I pay people to do this stuff for me. Yep. And, all the way through, I mean, you were laughing at this because I remember Lotus, and D-Base, and that's how we built our spreadsheets. This is pre-QuickBooks stuff, guys. Okay, that's how old I am, the mid 1900s. And I knew from growing up in with my family being in business, I knew I had to know these numbers. So you had to go put them down in black and white, and you really got to have them in black and white to really understand it. And I don't think a lot of guys, like this time of the year right now, it's either you're going to pay the IRS or you can spend the money on something else. And why do we want to give the money to the IRS? But they can't have you do their taxes next year and spend the money last year. It doesn't work that way, right? I mean, you got to spend it. The deadline's December 31st, midnight, right?
Yep, exactly. And you know what? Here's the thing, Ron. Everybody talks about taxes, and that's a major portion of the conversation that we have with our clients every day. But how about just talking about, taxes come along because we make money, right? Well, we got to go out and make some money, because there's a lot of guys out there that are doing this kind of for fun. They're just kind of standing on the side. They're not really putting any focus into this. And so they're coming to tax time, and all of a sudden they're going, well, I didn't really make any money, so I don't have a lot of money to spend to save on taxes. Like having the tax conversation about how do we save, well, the prerequisite to doing that is we got to make some money. If we don't have any money made, then there's really no taxes to be saved, right? And so a lot of guys, they treat this not as the business. This is their job, or this is a side hustle, or whatever it is, right? Where we really come in is try to help you understand, what could this be? Let's project out a little bit into the future. Let's look at what this little secret for you guys out there. There's a lot of money in this industry. You can make a lot of money and do very, very well, where we could have really in-depth tax conversations to figure out how to save a lot of it. But I always tell everybody, we got to focus on pouring the foundation for a house before we can pick out the color of the master bedroom. If we don't have that foundation, there's no reason to start thinking about what master bedroom colors we're going to have, because there's no sense in doing any of that. So we sometimes like to get too cutesy right at the beginning. And we kind of live in this world, Ron, where everybody's an expert at everything when they live through social media. I was reading through some posts today on Facebook. I'm in a bunch of all the major kind of pressure washing groups and stuff like that. And there's a lot of guys out there that think they know kind of what they're talking about. But this stuff is so tailored to your business that listening to some random person on the internet tell you what you need to be doing is not a great way to find success. And so some guys saying that this worked exactly for them and they saved all this money, or going on TikTok, you make a lot of fun of some of these influencers and stuff all the time. But when you're taking that stuff to heart, they're probably not, one, they're probably not right. And two, it probably doesn't apply to your situation. So this is where we really put together.
I know you don't like saying this, but I will say this, and I'll say it with confidence. I used to, prior to me talking to you, there was a person, and I still recommend her for bookkeeping, and I don't want to promote her right now, but she's a good friend of mine, and I promote her for bookkeeping purposes. And when I first met you, I want you to understand something. I've never liked CPAs, okay?
Right.
And you remember this conversation, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because CPAs, I always felt they follow the guidebook. You know what I mean? And I knew, and when I talked to you, you were very clear on you're following the law. And you even scrutinized, you even said it that day, hey, if the IRS sends me something, I look deeper into it to see if this is really the best way for my client to go. We just don't follow that stuff blindly. And that was refreshing to hear, because I couldn't recommend a CPA to anybody because they would follow the IRS blindly. And we all know you can't follow the IRS blindly, because some of the stuff they're putting out there, they're not law. They're suggestions sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's the way that they want people to go, and they try to move them that direction. And I always try to tell people, if you just get somebody that knows the strategies and knows it, you're gonna pay for their fee. You're gonna save that fee in just hiring them. Thousands of dollars that are saved. As a matter of fact, I know you can't say it, but I'll say it. If you hire the right person, which is Drake, you're gonna save more money throughout the year that you're gonna be able to pay him over and over again. And you're also gonna be more prepared at looking at those numbers. The dumbest things in the world. You're going to know if people are stealing from you. You're going to know if fuel's been missing. I mean, once you get those trends and you see that line item and that percentage, you're going to go, why was fuel in October, 50% higher, but my revenue was lower? What's going on? You know what I mean? Yep. Well, that means guys are taking fuel cards and filling their cars up, I mean, and guys go, well, if you got guys stealing from you, you're right. If you guys got stealing from you, you got to cut them, because that's a cancer. I guess we can't say cancer politically in here anymore, but you get it. It's a problem within your organization, and you need to fix it. But you don't know those problems exist if you're not tracking those expenses. And we talked about this last time. I know you don't want to see it, but where's the box? I got to go get a box. And they give you the box of receipts. Yep. That's a disaster, because now that's more money that you have to spend to put that in order, instead of doing it every week or every month, having a nice little tidy, report that they can look at. Now, you're coming to Florida. You're coming to Florida.
Yeah.
For an annual event. And you're going to, and what is it exactly you're going to teach there? Just let me know.
Yeah. So we're really going to talk to you guys about how to learn to read financial statements. There's a lot of you guys out there that think you kind of know, or, I can read a P&L and know exactly what's going on. We're going to teach you what's your profit and loss, how should it look, how should it be set up, what the heck's a balance sheet, and what the heck's a statement of cash flows. And I know, like, a lot of this sounds lame and boring. As a business owner, these are things that you have to know. And maybe you're small right now and you're going, oh, Drake, this doesn't apply to me. We're trying to grow and I got to learn these techniques or these different things. I'll tell you, if this isn't one of the most valuable spots you come to, I'm doing my job wrong, because having this level of information, kind of speaking to what Ron was saying earlier, if you're a receipts in a shoebox kind of guy, you are doing yourself a major disservice, huge disservice, because we talk about all these numbers and why they're important. The only reason those numbers are ever important is if you utilize them to make decisions from. Numbers are just numbers. They're not intrinsically good or bad. You can tell me that your close rate's 70% on jobs. Is that good or bad, right? If you're shooting for a 50% close rate and you're hitting 70, then that's fantastic. But if you're shooting for an 80% and you're hitting 70, you're not doing so good, right? So ultimately, what we're going to do is really help you understand, okay, how do I take just this data? Some of you might think it just might be Chinese when it's on a piece of paper in front of you. How do you take that and actually make decisions off of it? And that's what we build our entire firm around. You know, taxes are important, but for our clients, taxes aren't something that they put a lot of stress into come tax season, because this is something we've set and talked about throughout the year, and we're already ready for it. When tax season comes along, it's just a little bump in the road because we know what our numbers are and we've made really good decisions off of that information. So that's what we're going to kind of help you guys learn a little bit more is how do you make decisions when you have that information in front of you?
That's and it has to be there. I mean, it has to happen.
Right.
I mean, guys, whether you've been in this business for 20 years and or you've been in it 20 days, it's even more crucial. The guys that have been in it for 20 days, they're doing something and they could probably do better, but they're in business. So
Yep.
they're gonna be okay. They could get better if they would start using some type of resource like this. But I was so glad to hear, you know, George Erskine, good friend of mine, he is absolutely killing it. And I am glad that he hired you, man. And I can't wait to get him on a show so he can talk about how you made his life completely easier. And he can be, let's say, the first testimony on my show that he by far probably is paid for your services over and over again. That's what a lot of guys just, I'm gonna hit that home with them. You're not going to wind up spending more money. You're going to save money. You are going to save money by having a professional. And if you don't, I'm here to tell you this. If you can't afford Drake, get a dang bookkeeper at least. Get something. Do not be the guy that has the box of receipts. And I'll tell you why this is a bad thing. If you've got a box of those customer receipts and the receipts you bought from the store, they're not on a CRM, which means you're not marketing to them. You're not being able to retouch them. You don't even know their names because they're in a box, you know, and there are so many other platforms. Once you have that data in your system that you can utilize a texting module. You can go to, like, I call it the old fax machine. You can email people. Okay. Email still works, but I got to kid people about it because I told somebody the other day, you know, I'm a big guy at sending out unsolicited proposals, and people don't understand that financial companies, which are property management companies, investment companies, they all have faxes. As crazy as that sounds, they have faxes. And use words like I'm sending documents instead of a proposal. Say you're sending a document over. Watch how fast they give you the number. Boom. Because document sounds important, you know, sounds legal, you know, and you want their fax number. And I'll tell you what, they see that fax. Not that they have that old-fashioned fax machine in their office, but they're going to get an e-fax. And they're going to take time to look at the e-fax in their email. Where a lot of guys don't understand that until a contact sends you an email, they can't even see those emails. Can they?
Nope. Yeah, exactly. A lot of times it's hidden, or
it's a spam filter that corporate puts on there because they don't want a pro buyer that's got millions of dollars in budget money being inundated with emails all day and they can't do their job. I mean, these guys have to think the most important people in the world, you are never going to reach them by email. It's not going to happen unless they send an email to you first. And I learned that a long time ago. And I hate to tell these guys all the time because I got this email campaign list of all these clients. I'm like, it's going to return about 0.5%. I mean, maybe. I mean, you're better off to send them a postcard through the, you know, snail mail. They're more apt to see that. That's more apt to get on their desk than them actually viewing an email. But getting back into the accounting thing, guys, I can't tell you how important this is. I put the link in here, guys, for this free profitability sheet. And I'm gonna put it back up again right now. You guys need to take a look at this, and obviously utilize this thing, man. I went ahead and put it back up there. I'm going to go ahead and post it one more time on the regular thread, guys. Go there and download this thing. Tell them about this sheet. I didn't, you know what? I didn't have the copy of it up today, but tell them about the sheet and how much time do you think it is to really fill this thing out themselves?
Man, this thing, it probably is going to take 5, maybe 10 minutes, depending on how big your crew is, to fill this out. And it is going to provide you enormous amounts of data each day to help make great decisions. Now, that's all we're trying to do is make better decisions every single day, incrementally get better. So
do you know if George is actually using that, or is he paying you to do
it? He's using it. He's got somebody on his team filling it out for him.
Super.
Yeah. So if you got an office manager or this is something that you want to take over, it's not like we're adding a bunch to your plate. All we're doing is we're saying, hey, you got a bunch of costs that go into producing one job, but we don't measure how much, SH do we put in and spray on this house? How much gas did we use in our truck to drive over here? We're not measuring any of that kind of stuff. We could, and if you want to be a super nerd, go ahead. But I can bet there isn't one of you out there that knows what all those numbers are. But the one thing we do measure pretty easily is how long did a job take us to perform? Either we had employees at that job, or we can intrinsically kind of know, hey, it took us 4 hours to do this job, it took us 2.5 hours, whatever it is. And we can create an hourly rate for all of your material costs, all of your fuel, all of those types of costs that go in to produce a job. And so now you can say with confidence, this job made money or it didn't make money. I know there's a lot of guys out there that are like, I don't get in my truck for less than $350 a day or whatever it is, right? And that's actually could be your number, but most people can't back it up with how I just got that. And so coming up with those kind of numbers to really help you estimate, ultimately what this is going to do is it's going to help you evaluate, are we profitable on jobs? Then it's going to help us figure out, okay, if we're not profitable on jobs, how do we change our estimating? Or do we need to get better at figuring out how we bid out work, or how do we need to train our guys better, do that kind of stuff. And so it's just constant way to just get better and better. And it takes maybe 5 minutes, or if you got an office person, have them put that information in there. And by 8 a.m., that stuff's got to be on your desk, because ultimately we're business owners. We're here to make good decisions inside of our business. And so taking a couple minutes to go slow so that we can go sprint the rest of the day is going to make a massive impact on your business.
That's awesome. I give a shout out to, we got Brady. George is watching. John, how you doing? Juan, Chris Albright, how you doing? We got 12 guys on, so we got an okay audience. I just text that profitability sheet out to some people.
Heck yeah.
Guys, I left it in there for you guys. If you guys want to check it out, I'm going to pull it back up again here. There it is. And somebody just signed up. Little pressure washing. Washing. What's your name, man? If you can chime in there. Yep, I just sent the link again, man. I just sent it to you. It's a really cool tool, guys. I mean, and it's a free tool. It's a free tool that he's given, so he's trying to add value to what he does for a service. And obviously, if you get on, if you use his service, this is something he's going to need. This is information he's going to need for you every day to help you guys out to figure out those numbers. What are some of the other benefits of this? Like, what are the benefits? I mean, what are the direct benefits of knowing your numbers? I mean, what is the biggest ordeal? Obviously, if you're losing money, that's going to be a problem, right? I mean, that's probably the number one thing. I mean,
huge problem.
You're not going to stay in business if you keep losing money.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, as business owners, a lot of times we can get bright and shiny object syndrome, where we want to go start something else, or we want to, put some money away for retirement, or we want to take our wife on a sweet little trip or something like that, right? Having this kind of information, the real benefit is increased decision making. And I'm going to just harp on that, guys. We're constantly making decisions. The separator between you and your competition is how well you're making decisions inside of your business. I tell everybody this, you guys all hear about AI and artificial technology and blockchain, and nobody knows what the heck they mean. But really what they're doing is they're simplifying all of this stuff. So this bookkeeping stuff, that's going away in the next 5 to 10 years. And the separator for you and your competition is how well do you all utilize the information, that historic information that you have? How do you make decisions off of that? So that's one way, decision making. The second way is just peace of mind, right? And knowing, hey, are we making money or are we not, right? Very, very important to have some of that peace of mind. The other thing, that we hear a lot from our clients is, I tell everybody, we live in an Instagram world. Common thing, I did it right when I jumped on. Ron, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. I don't know if Ron's really doing good or not. Ron could be having a terrible day, but when you talk to somebody in connection, they just a lot of times say good, right? Well, we break that down a lot of times to where it's like, hey, when you're working with us, a lot of people aren't doing so good, or they're having concerns, or they're questioning things, and nobody's putting out the hard times that they're having out on social media. That's why, again, I call it the Instagram society. Is we're all putting out the really, really good things. A lot of you guys think that you're the only ones that are struggling, when the reality is probably 95% of people out there are struggling. So we do a ton of advisory work at our practice, and I joke because we go, okay, we're going to do tax planning, we're going to set performance indicators for your business, and we're going to really teach you how to review your financial statements. But what half those meetings end up being is like therapy sessions, where it's like, Drake, do I got to shut the doors tomorrow, dude? I can't get any of my employees to stay. Should I buy this new truck? Should I lease it? Should I finance it? Should I pay it in cash? Hey, I'm thinking about starting a new business. Do these numbers make sense? All those kind of things that are going through your brain where you just don't have that clarity on, or you don't have somebody you can just go talk to about that stuff. Your wife is sick of hearing about it, and you don't have somebody at your company that you trust to have that kind of level of information. We do that kind of stuff all the time because people are constantly worried about what's happening inside of their business, and just that mental clarity and that ability to go, okay, I am thinking through this correctly, or, oh, I didn't even think about how that's going to impact us long term. We do that all the time to just really help you guys out. And again, it all comes back to, how do we make good decisions inside of our business?
Yeah, it's definitely you cannot, without looking at those sheets, you do not know. You don't know if you're doing well. Yep. You're right. But I got to tell you something. If you ever ask me how I'm doing, and I'm having a bad day, I tell you, it's funny because I go to Starbucks, and they always got, what are you doing today? I'm not doing a damn thing. I'm pissed off. They don't know how to act when you tell them you're doing horrible.
Ron's a bad example.
They don't even talk to you anymore after that. But no, it is an important thing. I mean, people don't realize. I want to give a guy. We got a few more guys on here again now. Brady, Juan's still here. Chris is here. George is here. John joined us. We got about 15 guys on right now.
Shout out to Brady.
I wish George would throw a testimonial in there for you in writing, George. I mean, tell him how long you've been using the guy and what he's done and how he's made your life so much easier, because it really is about that. And I think sometimes guys don't understand too is that when I hear it all the time, I made so much money, I've been so busy, but I haven't been able to invoice anybody. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's a disaster for recipe, because a recipe for disaster, because cash flow is what it's all about, man. And you don't keep that, you don't send invoices out. Cash flow doesn't come. And if cash flow doesn't come, you cannot, you can't operate properly, because you need that cash flow. It's all good to say we got money in the bank and we can handle that, but that's not how a business is supposed to run. You're not supposed to use excess funds for operating expenses. And I don't think people know simple things like you have an operating account, you have a payroll account, maybe you have a capital account that people don't ever talk about, because there's some advantages to doing that as far as taxes go. You're going to pay tax on it eventually, but hey, if your business is doing that well and you don't want to pay taxes, I kind of call a capital account kind of like a business IRA. Would you kind of treat those the same if you were?
We can hit on that Profit First book a little bit too, Ron. You brought that up kind of before we jumped on here in your live video a little earlier, and that's what that book is teaching you guys to do. So if I had a recommendation for you guys to walk out of here today, go read or listen to that book, Profit First. Wish I had a copy of it so I could kind of show it up and show everybody. But that's a little bit about what we're talking about. And, the other thing that I hear from guys all the time right now too, Ron, is, well, we didn't pay any quarterly estimates throughout the year and we had a good year. And now you're going to owe some taxes. And what happened is now all of a sudden you take that money out come April. Well, guess when you guys are probably really getting started for the season is in April. Now you got to pay your tax bill, take all that money out. Your operations are crushed to start the year.
There's a nice one for you right there.
Appreciate it, buddy.
There's George Erskine, guys. I got to find out some more of the customers that are using Drake, because this is the kind of thing that we need is, when you have no one, this is another sales tip, guys. No one can sell your service or business better than your customers, guys. And you've got to figure out a way to have your customers help sell your business, whether it's good feedback on Google, giving you reviews, or whether it's straight up they give you a testimonial and they're willing to sign off on it and have their pretty little picture on their website so people know. George, George, don't get mad. George is a quiet kind of guy that's in the industry. People don't realize what a big player he's become in the industry because, this guy right here, we have this testimonial up. He's got nearly a quarter of $1,000,000 on maintenance garage. That's a big job, man. That's a huge feat. George got that thing and he's getting more like it. I'm not going to tell you his customer list, but I know some of them. And he's got even bigger customers than that in the pipeline, and he's done work with them. And he's only getting bigger. He's located out there in Sacramento, California. And I know that I'm going to tell you if you're listening, George, what you did was not only give yourself peace of mind, but in 3 years, you're still going to be in business, because whether Drake knows this or not, okay, the reason people are going out of business in 3 to 5 years, it's not because they're not profitable. It's because they get themselves in trouble with the IRS. And he's going to keep you in business, George, because, and I have guys that have made millions of dollars, but man, you get in trouble with the IRS and you make millions of dollars, your troubles are just bigger. I mean? That's all it is. And George, you're going to be around in 3 years. You're going to be around in 5 years. You did the right thing. And yeah, you're right. There's the huge peace of mind having somebody that knows what they're doing. I was telling a guy this earlier today. I said, is a buddy of mine that's trying to get his kids in, he's worked for a liquor distributor for 36 years, and he don't want his kids to get a job. He's got a daughter now that that has a job. She's younger. His son is only like 15 years old, and he knows that working for somebody else is not going to make him rich. And I was telling him I was coming on this talk with you, and I was saying, well, if you start correct out of the gate and you get somebody like you to do this and handle this portion of business, we don't go to the foot doctor to get our teeth fixed. We don't go to the baby. We don't go to the dentist to have a baby. You know what I mean?
Right.
We go to the right doctors to get that stuff taken care of. And we all have landscapers, pool guys. I mean, we hire all these other people to do the service the proper way, because one, we're not good at it. Like, I always laugh when somebody goes, yeah, I can change my own brakes. Took me 4 or 5 hours, but I did that. And I lost $2,000 a day at work, but I got them brakes done and saved $175 for my mechanic. Why? Let a professional do this stuff. I urge everybody today, go get the free form he's giving you on profitability. Go get it, start using it, and you guys will be surprised. You know what I want? I want a testimonial from somebody that started using it, not somebody that's using your service. I want somebody that started using it and they were completely enlightened on, wow, I didn't realize it. I was making money, but I wasn't making as much as I thought I was, because I know that guy exists out there, and guys are going to find that out. I always tell these guys, nobody believes me. George believes me. If you're doing a one-time gig, if you're not making $500 an hour, you're not making any money. And people don't even understand that. They go, oh no, that's not true. You can't make $500 an hour. That's not possible. Well, guess what, guys? George is doing that. And if it's a one-time gig, that's what he's making. Now here's the catch. George isn't doing a lot of one-time gigs. He's doing a lot of repeat business clients.
Yep.
And repeat clients, yeah, you don't have to make $500 an hour on them because there's a lower acquisition cost because you spent the money to get them, and now they're your client, and you keep washing them. So there's a much lower acquisition cost in that customer versus somebody. And this is another thing that guys don't think about, and this sheet will help them out with. Guys brag all the time. I did 2 houses this week, $400 a piece. I made $800. And I'm like, that's, and they go, that's $200 an hour. And I go, well, how many didn't you get? And then they go,
Right.
12. And I go, and you made all the trips there and the phone calls. So really you worked like, 37 hours to make $800. So you really made like $14 an hour. That doesn't work. You are more valuable in your organization than anyone. Your time is worth the most. I hate that when guys go, I don't spend any money on marketing. Okay, so you don't do any of this? You don't oh no, I do. It's me. I'm free. You're not free.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And guys, here's what I tell everybody too. We do a free 30-minute discovery meeting. If you guys got questions and you want to walk through some of this stuff, you want to hear a little bit more as it pertains to you, hit us up, man. We got links on our website. We got a Calendly that we can send you. Message me on here. We would love to do a free 30-minute consultation with you to answer any of your questions, walk through your stuff, get a second opinion on stuff. Maybe you go, hey, this is what my current guy's doing. Does that make sense? He never lets me write off X, Y, and Z, or, I don't think this really. Let us do that, man. We'd love to help you out. That's what we're here to do.
IRS recommendations.
Yes. Right. I mean, we can get creative, dude. That's where a real CPA is going to save you some money, is they got to have some creativity in them. They're just black and white and they're not listening to any explanations. Or here's a better one. If they're not asking you questions, right? If they're not going, hey, did you have this? Hey, did you think about doing this? Hey, I saw you had this, but does it make sense if we call it this? A lot of guys, they want to give to charity out there, right? And they go, yeah, I donated $100 to this charity through the business. Is that a write-off? Well, no. But did you put your logo on it? Well, yeah. Well, then we're going to call it advertising, because if we called it charity, you're not going to get a deduction for it. But if we call it advertising because you put your logo on it, now we're going to get a deduction for it. If whoever you're working with isn't doing those types of things and prodding a little bit, they're doing you a disservice, and you're probably leaving money on the table.
I'll tell you one that I did, and I'll give you these guys got to understand it. I'm going to always give sales tips, even on my interviews with other guys. So I'm going to tell you this. This is one here that my guy came up with, and it was a great idea, actually. So the salespeople, we had 5 at the height. So we had 5 salespeople, and we were always told them that they were to give away a free cleaning at any hospitality restaurant, anything they wanted to do. And it was a cool thing. And we required them to do at least a minimum of 2 a month. Now, what we used to do is we would give them a gift card. Okay. And the gift card could be written off for marketing or whatever. So they got to take their wife or their kids out to dinner, which was a nice little perk for working. But they had to make an attempt to get the GM to the table to go ahead and see if they could give another free service away. And I'll tell you guys, when you're sitting down in their restaurant, it is very difficult to tell you no. Okay.
Yep.
Because you're a patron in their restaurant. And on top of it, as a company, you're getting to write off that dinner. Your employees are enjoying the perk, which is always a good thing, because you got to have happy employees. You got to have employees. The wives love it because they'll soon to be asking, well, you don't do this restaurant group, and I want to go try that. Can we get some of those? And then the wives are always making sure once they're happy, they're getting their husbands out of bed on time to get into work to perform. No, you're going to get in there. Mr. Musgraves is going to give us another gift card this week. You're going to be on time every day, and da 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 da. And then next thing you got that support behind them. You won the battle. You know what I mean? You 100%. Won the battle. But we wrote that off as marketing. And I'll give you another thing that he can give you tips on. This is a tip for you guys. Sometimes they'll sit there and say, we have shot our budget for cleaning. And you can turn to them and go, do you have any marketing money left? Because what you got outside is an image and a marketing problem because they're dirty. And then the GM sits there or the decision maker sits there and goes, as a matter of fact, we got lots of money in marketing left. You're right. I can write that off out of my marketing budget. You got to get smarter as a business person to kind of think about these things. Here, one last tip I'm going to give. This is it. Sometimes guys will say, if you say it's going to cost $1,200 to initially clean this up and then $350 a month, and they'll say, I like the $350 a month, but I can't authorize any more than $600 on any one invoice. That's my limit. Well, you got to get creative. Give them 2 invoices, right? I mean, you got to think like that, and you date them for different days, and say you wash the back end of the restaurant one day and the front end of the restaurant the next day. And you tell them that you're going to wash it all on the same day, but you're going to give them the invoices, for different days, and you got it done. And but these are things until you start learning from Drake some of these types of angles that you can use. Like you said, I call it semantics.
Right.
I have a buddy, he buys lunch all the time, and he's a customer. And every time he uses his personal credit card, and then he's cussing himself afterwards because he's like, why didn't I put this on the business credit card? And he does it like at least 3 out of the 10 times we eat. And I've gotten to the point now where, like, hey, Mark, if you're buying today, pull out the right card, because I don't want to listen to you bitch for an hour after you bought this dinner for me that you're pissed off that you bought it with your personal card, And whether he uses it, do we always talk about business? I'm self-employed. I'm an entrepreneur. There's not a time I don't talk about business.
Exactly.
It's always there. We're always been, I'm using my car. It's for business.
Yep. And it is. I mean, it frankly is. You're talking to people, you're moving around. I mean, this is where that stuffy accountant goes, no, you need to track it perfectly. You need to do this. And it's like, no, you got to get creative. You got to play with the rules and make them work, because if you don't do some of that, you're leaving dollars on the table. And everybody always wants it to be like, oh, these are the little secrets the rich don't want you to know, or da-da-da-da-da. There are no secrets, man. It's, let's be smart about how we spend our dollars.
Man, we've got them coming out of the woodwork, man.
Yeah. Brady's a good kid, man. He's the man, dude.
That's good. There, you got another one. You got another little testimonial. That's good. Is he in legacy too?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, super duper. Yep. Yeah, lots of smart guys. When you have to, you got to know these numbers, man. And it's just like, don't try to do your own brakes. Let the auto mechanic do the brakes. Let Drake take care of the books. And like George said, man, he's going to have a peace of mind. And Brady, you're going to be in business in 3 to 5 years too, or at least you're going to have a better chance of it. Because
yes,
if you think about it like this, even if it's not the IRS, let's just say you're running at a loss and you never figured it out, and in 3 years you blew through all your 401k money and you no longer have your retirement money. At least if you get Drake in there, you're going to know, and you're going to stop doing that, and you're going to start saving money, and you're going to have reserves. He's going to teach you, like, and here's the cool thing, because you are in our industry, you're starting to see patterns,
high level trends.
Yeah, right. And you're starting to see those patterns, and you're able to dial in and say, hey, you need to save this much money for replacement on equipment, for repairs on equipment. I know in your industry, every vehicle is taking about this much as far as replacement value and whatnot, because of the wear and tear that they're taking with all the chemicals that we use and stuff like that. You're going to have, I can't imagine in probably three more years, you're going to have that so dialed in that you'll know those numbers for anybody that starts out, that, hey, this truck's not going to last forever. We're having these guys replace these trucks every 3 to 5 years because of the chemical usage. I don't know if you've seen the damage to some of these brand new trucks. Have you seen them?
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
It's rough. There's a guy that had one that, he took it back and the frame was actually cracked right behind the driver. He still owed like $70,000 on the truck, man. I mean, that's a
Yep.
tough one to sweat out. And the insurance is not going to pay for that, guys. They're not paying
Nope.
for that. You know,
Nope.
go out and wreck the truck, or it goes missing, but they're not going to pay for that damage. You know, they're just not. And a lot of guys are finding that out. Like, oh, it's not an accidental thing, man. It's something due to thing. Lots of guys don't understand about insurance. They always go, well, that's what I got insurance for. If my guys screw that up, we can use the insurance. I'm like, no, the insurance doesn't insure dummies. You know, if you're a dummy, they don't cover. There's no dummy coverage. You know,
and if there is, it'd be ridiculous.
Oh, it would be ridiculous. That's for sure. Yeah, dummy coverage. You know.
Yeah.
Is Drake
I'll talk to Chris.
Is Drake a quarterly fee? That's Chris. I interviewed him a couple days ago. He's asking.
You know, yes and no, Chris. It really depends. So our core services, bookkeeping and advisory, what that looks like is we're going to do all your monthly accounting, all your bookkeeping. We're going to send you your financial statements. We're going to also send you a bunch of charts so that you can see kind of trends over time. Just make that really, really apparent. Our next really level of service is our advisory. This is probably going to be a one-on-one monthly or quarterly meeting. Kind of depends on what you want. This is going to be us really teaching you how to read those financial statements, getting a better understanding of it, building out some metrics for you. So maybe one of the metrics we use, we have a used car dealer here in town that we work with. They have about $19,000 in fixed cost every month, and they make $1,000 per car. Here's a simple metric that has made them way more profitable. He needs to sell 19 cars. If he doesn't make any money. So he knows that it's the 19th today and he's only sold 7 cars. He probably is going to have a tough time making his month, right? So putting those types of metrics inside of your business so that you're not waiting for Drake to send you financial statements to go, hey, did we make money or lose money this month? You can know on a daily basis. The other thing we're going to do is tax prep or tax planning. We're going to be proactive throughout the year. So if it's on a monthly basis, it might be, hey, let's just do a catch up from where we were at last month. Do we need to think about putting in estimates this time? How's that going to affect us from a cash flow perspective? And then finally, I joke about it. And for any of you guys that heard me say it before, half of these meetings turn into therapy sessions where it's like, Drake, what the heck's going on? What's the state of the world right now? Thinking about closing doors, can't find and hire employees, don't know if we're making any money. Hey, should I buy this new truck? Should I not? And just having somebody to kind of vent and walk through those problems that can answer them quickly. And then really our third service is our tax prep. And for us, our tax prep is really just a product of those two. So we're not going to hopefully not extend your tax return because we're going to have all that information ready to go. So when February rolls around and the taxes are ready to go, we dump that information into the tax return. You double check and verify it because it's something we've already talked about and planned on. And it's just a little hurdle as we move into our busy time of the year. So we really try to stay proactive with this stuff because we know that if we can keep you guys proactive and accountable at looking at this stuff, we can provide really good insight to make good decisions. And making good decisions consistently over a long period of time means you're going to run a profitable company. So yes, quarterly, some of those clients we do quarterly on. It's kind of up to them and what kind of their appetite is. So
I wonder if my mic was actually on, or if I'm wearing these things just for shits and giggles.
I can hear you just fine.
I bet you can hear me better now, though.
That is correct.
Damn it.
They frame your face in so nice, Ron. I think that's more important.
Well, I just have to put them on because, like, I have outside noises. You know, the dog barks or the kids. You guys don't even have any idea how close I am to the pool, and I know you're gonna go, it's wintertime. Well, it's heated, so sometimes you never know, they jump in the dang thing.
Right.
Then they're out there screaming. My little study is right off the back of the house here, so awesome. Everybody thinks I'm at the office. I'm never at the office.
Hey, but here's the thing, Ron, we do have a little surprise for everybody that shows up to the Destin event at our little location. So cool. I'm not going to reveal it, but if you are going to the Destin event, I want you guys to kind of look out for that because we got something kind of fun that I think you'll enjoy that'll be kind of different than maybe what some other people have. So if you come to that event, make sure to find us. We are giving away a free tax return too. So if you sign up for that, we're going to do a drawing for a free tax return. So if anybody's interested in that, we'll have that there too. So something to keep in mind.
That's
But
awesome.
we do have something else that's kind of fun as well. So I'm not going to give it away, but we'll show it when you're there. So I'm sure there'll be a couple pictures taken.
So personal sole proprietor, April 15th. Corporate,
Yep.
May 15th.
March 15th.
March 15th. Nonprofit, May 15th.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. I knew I had it backwards. Okay. So,
Yep.
so corporate, March, April, sole
Personal.
proprietor, and
Yep.
then May, nonprofits. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And I know guys are going to go, why would he be talking about nonprofits? There's guys out there that are nonprofit.
Yep. Yep. Or organizations that you're a part of are nonprofits.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So Drake,
sure.
what's the blue bottle behind you? I'm a baby blue label guy.
So we got Buffalo Trace, Basil Hayden's, Bird Dog Peach, and Tin Cup. So if you guys are ever in the metro, we work with pressure washing companies across the United States, and I always joke about this. Literally, I had a planning meeting an hour before this, Ron, and it was some guys from down in Texas that we were meeting with, and they were asking the same thing about what we had in the bottle. And I said, look, you just got to come to Des Moines, and you can have as much whiskey as you can drink. So it's kind of funny because we got pressure washers from Connecticut to California and everywhere in between that we work with. So we really see all the different areas of the country. And, I bought these nice bottles of whiskey to have in the office, but they turned into a little bit of a decoration because we got probably a dozen or 20 clients in Des Moines here. But so if you're ever around town or you guys want to stop or talk a little bit, you can come have some free whiskey, or we got some Busch Light too. So
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. I think we had a great turnout tonight. I think it was a good video. I think it gave guys what they need to know. And hey, man, potentially if you're down in Sandestin on the 18th and 19th, you win a free tax return. I mean, that's worth coming and talking to Drake for sure. Now, what Drake's doing at this event, guys, is he's going to be in part of the circuit training. So the first entire day that we do the circuit training, you're going to be going to his class basically, where he's going to talk about these types of things as far as taxes go and, accounting and whatnot a little bit more extensively and give you some more real hands-on stuff that he can do right there face to face. And we're going to make sure that we text all the event people the link for his profitability sheet, and then everybody's going to have that. And maybe you're going to fill one out there. I don't know. Maybe you're going to do something like that.
Definitely we can
show them how simple it can be. And if they just take that 5 minutes a day, it's going to be really good. Any work in Georgia?
We can work in any state, but we have some in Georgia too. So,
and Chris says he's coming for the free drinks. Chris is a funny guy. He won't be coming.
Man.
We won't see Chris in Florida though. I think he says he's going to be in Hawaii or the Bahamas or something. I know he can't come, but that's a bummer. But yeah, guys, make sure you guys check it out, man. Performance Financial, guys. Give them the website one more time.
performancefinancialllc.com.
LLC.com, guys. I'll go ahead and pin that up too, and I'll put it probably in the description as well. So if you're watching this, guys, we appreciate you. We appreciate you coming out tonight, Drake. Appreciate you doing this video. We're going to do another video as it comes closer to the event. So guys, make sure you tune it in. I'm also going to pin the last video that we did because we kind of ran through the profitability form. And so I'm going to pin that video in with this one, guys, if you guys want to watch that. And how easy it is to actually fill it out and to actually practice it. I tell you what, I promise you that if you go down, download that form, and you start using it, it's going to change your entire perspective on how you're looking at all this stuff. And you're going to find out. There's only a few things that can happen. You're going to find out you're making way more money than you even thought you made. You're going to find out you're not making as much money as you thought you made, or you're going to find out you're losing money. Those are the three things you're going to find out. And if this is basic. This is 079 stuff. This isn't even 101, man. This is remedial stuff in business that you've got to be doing. These are the fundamental foundations of running a business. Is step one is filling that form out on a daily basis. Because I'll say it again, finding out you lost money in a month from now, or even worse, 6 months from now, is dangerous, man. It's dangerous
Very.
because you don't even know how to make, you don't even know what the problem is. You don't know how to recover. You know, from day to day, here's one of the cool things you can find out. Hey, how come last week on Tuesday we made so much money, right? And then you want to find out, and you want to be able to replicate what was going on that day and do that every day, right? I mean, and it could be something stupid. You open your eyes and ears, because maybe one of your crew leaders will say, well, yeah, that day we did this like this. And if the work was quality and the results were there, you've got a better performance. I call it a production rate. If that production rate is better, profit is normally better. Now, remember, we don't want to lose quality, and we don't want to forget about safety. Speed is a great thing, but safety and quality come before speed. Guys, that's all I'm going to tell you. Get to the event on January 18th and 19th. We appreciate Drake for coming down to that event and doing this for us. Guys, we're out of here. Ron Musgraves, Pressure Washing Institute, Contractors First. Sign up at nationalcleaningexpo.com. It's a free